Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. No doubt about it, a business is only as good as the people that work there. So how do you employ the right people? Ask if they like Homo sapiens and check your skin for goosebumps. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Entrepreneur Roy Osing says if you break it all down, people drive performance, people control the brand, and people take care of customers. And since people do make the difference, hiring the right staff and looking after them so that they stay should be a business priority. So how do you ensure that you hire the right people, especially in customer service? Well, Roy tells Chris Ashmore to ask if they like other people. And if their answer gives you chills, hire them.
Winning customer service strategies require the right recruitment strategy, right? In other words, it's not about training. Some of it in terms of the nature of the job and how to do the job might be, but the customer interaction is more driven by emotion and feelings. And so what we need to do, and I had lots of fun with this, is we need to recruit people, who have a basic innate desire to care for other humans. And why is that? Well, it's because customers react not to the incredible characteristics of the internet service that they've got. They react to how they felt when they actually purchase it, how they feel when they have to get it fixed, all of those sorts of things. When they have questions about how it works, they react to how they feel about how easy it is to do business with the organization. We're not spending enough time on the feelings part of particularly customer-facing business units. And in some cases, we make mistakes, right? We hire people because of their intellectual capabilities, even though they have utter disdain for Homo sapiens. And that happens, okay? They do. And the reality is we don't probe that. We don't test that. All we go is, wow, this guy got, grade A marks and he's got an MBA from blah, blah, and wow, he'd be perfect for a customer service manager. No. Absolutely not. He would rather be doing inventory as opposed to talking to people. And so customer-facing units are all about getting people who care about people into those key positions because customers buy on feelings. They buy on feelings.
So when it comes to hiring these people, how do you then ascertain whether they have those characteristics of caring for others?
Well, that's where the fun comes in, right? Because unfortunately, there's no textbook. Other than formulas that try to predict human behavior, basically the approach that I took was a pretty simple approach, right? I would, first of all, clarify the person's academic qualifications for the job, okay? And it didn't matter whether it was in customer service, whether it was in marketing, sales, didn't really matter. Spend some time, the right kind of due diligence, making sure that they had the right qualifications. But the deep dive would come on the human element. Asking questions around, tell me about your experience when you got out of high school in terms of your first job. Where did you work? How'd you feel dealing with people, etc.? Really, really, really drill down on that piece and try and get a soft understanding as to how they really feel about people. And it's amazing. It comes through. You can feel it. I can feel it. If somebody's coming across to you and they hate you in a retail outlet, when the person hates you because they avoid you, they avoid eye contact, and they're running around saying, please don't ask me, please don't ask me. These people control your brand every time they talk to a customer, right? They control your brand. It's not the board. It's not the CEO. It's not the chairman of the board that controls the brand. No. In fact, we need to turn the organization triangle upside down. The people that really control a company are frontline people in customer service.
As a boss, how do you interview people?
Crazy. First of all, I participated in basically the majority of key hiring processes, particularly as related to customer facing, but not just that. And we had these panel interviews, and I'd be part of the panel. So it was a bit intimidating for the person who was actually applying for the job to see the president there with 3 or 4 other senior managers. And it was also intimidating to my senior managers to see me there. But I did it for a couple of reasons. First of all, I wanted to get them to learn the questions to ask. Okay, this human element dimension, right? Rather than tell them, because they'd be wondering, well, what does that look like? They got to see me. So they got absolutely crystal clarity on what it looked like. And so I would participate and I would do the deep dive around, do you love humans? And the question that came to me one day as I was going through this is I had said to this person, so do you like human beings? And the individual kind of looked at me and sort of sat back in their chair, right? I mean, obviously it was a trick question, they thought, but they didn't know where I was going. And so they would answer the question, and typically they would say yes because they felt that probably was the answer that I was looking for. And then I had a follow-up. Right? The follow-up was, tell me a story that would prove to me, that would show me how much you love Homo sapiens. That was a killer question because we had two kinds of outcomes, right? The first category was the person who knew it was a yes answer, but really didn't like humans, and it came through in their stories. Their stories were superficial. Their stories were probably got it out of Storytelling 101 on Google, all of this kind of stuff. So it was really, really artificial, and it just left me feeling really cold, just like a fish, right? So I would usher them out and say, well, thanks very much, your time is up. Yeah, but I got an MBA top-up, but don't care. Okay, I'm not looking for that. And literally, I would escort them out, much to the chagrin of my direct report sitting in the room, who up till then thought that that individual may have been a leading candidate, right? But the person who got it was that person who would tell a story, a personal story, that they may or may not ever have told anybody else before, but it was rich in passion and emotion and caring. All those things, I get goosebumps just thinking about all those things, right, that they carried around in their DNA, that was special to them, that they loved themselves for, right? That person would leave me just like it is right now, telling the story with goosebumps. And I would hire that person because I can teach them the job because they're smart. What I can't teach them is how to give me goosebumps. And I would hire for goosebumps. And so we had a whole program. It was Roy's Hiring for Goosebumps program. People would say, what is that all about? Thank you for asking the question. Now we're going to have a conversation about the importance of that human element and how we try to expose it. Now, it's not scientific, okay? This is very practical. But I have to tell you, it works. It works because you go with your gut. You get the goosebumps not because somebody said to get goosebumps, because somebody moved you. And if they can move me, I'm thinking they could probably move a colleague. They could move a customer. They could move a competitor. They could move a supplier. They can move anybody because they got that DNA strand working for them, and it's not intellectual. It's all right side of the hemisphere of the brain. And that's where the power and the emotion comes from.
What if someone's already in your business, Roy, that you didn't hire, but in fact they don't have that right fit for the business? They're not a people person or whatever it is. Do you turn them around or do you let them go?
Well, you definitely invest in them. Okay, you have to give everyone a chance. So I basically had kind of like three things that I went through for people like that. First of all, I would go on a performance improvement initiative and try and define areas where the individual was lacking, and maybe there's a way I could help, what they did well, what they needed to improve. And so what we did is we came up with a performance improvement plan built around 90 days. So the issue really was, okay, to be fair, yeah, you're having difficulty, I understand that, so let's talk about that. Let's put together a plan that we both think is real, so it'll be done jointly. I'm not going to impose it on you, but it has to be relative to the execution of the business strategy. And let's put a 90-day trial here and put goals at the end of 90 days. After 90 days, I'd sit down, we would assess the performance. For those individuals that exceeded the performance, met the goals, I said, okay, you did it. Now my question to you is, do you want to stay? That's the killer question, right? Because they could very easily have achieved the 90-day goals because they needed a paycheck and they had a family, but they really still feel uncomfortable. And I would say to them, look, you've proven that you can exceed the objectives you were given. You need to be comfortable you can go on this journey with us because the journey is long and hard, And it's going to require things of you in terms of human elements that you may be uncomfortable with. You need to tell me now that you're comfortable, because if you don't, if you lie to me and tell me you're comfortable and you're not, then that's unacceptable. There won't be another 90-day planning period. You'll be gone. On the other hand, if you decide that you want to join our team, then you will be revered as a member of that team. Well, just that conversation, by the way, made a hell of a difference to a lot of people, because they thought, oh, okay, I'm important here. I'm an important part of the organization, and I have something to contribute. So that's the process I went through.
That's Roy Osing, author of Be Different or Be Dead. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.